conformity to rebellion. How many rebels we have out there? All right, good, good. They're the ones that are yelling. You guys, the way I look at it, this whole idea, this whole theme of how we need to get beyond conformity to rebellion, to me, I look at my life and I go, you know what? Rebellion is not optional because of Matthew 7, verse 13. To me, I have to be a rebel. It's not an option. I must be because of Matthew 7, verse 13, which says this, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that lead to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few will find it. Do you understand what that's saying? It's saying there's this broad road that if you conform, the majority, the broad road is going to lead to destruction. And then Jesus says, but there's this narrow road, and only few will find it. There's this narrow road that will lead to life, which is what we're talking about, which will lead to this life that God wants of us. And he says only a few will find it. So in my life, if I start moving the way the majority goes, I get worried about myself. When I start fitting in too much and I start going with the flow and everyone loves me, it's like, okay, I'm probably doing something wrong because Jesus said, you know what, there's this narrow road you need to find. Not the broad road that everyone goes down, he says, leads to destruction. And he goes, find that narrow road because few will find it, because that's what leads to life. And I look at this crowd, and this may be a weird thing to say in my first talk, but it's exciting to have a huge crowd here. You know, I mean, I love coming to Challenge and seeing just the tons of people, you know, especially your age, that are fired up about the Lord. And there's a tendency in the American church, whenever there's a crowd, we just get so fired up because look at all of these people. And yet when I studied the life of Jesus, every time he had a crowd in front of him, he didn't get excited. Instead, he would get skeptical. You know, I was reading in Luke 14, and in Luke 14 it says that there were large crowds before him, but rather than Jesus going, wow, that's great, look at all of you people, next week bring a friend, instead of doing that, it says he turns to them and he says, wait a second, do you realize that if anyone wants to follow me, he's got to be willing to hate his father, mother, brothers, sisters, wife, kids? He's got to deny himself. He's got to be willing to deny himself, pick up his cross, and follow me.